Hey Joey, I'm Gnome.
Hi Joey, I'm Crossy.
Hey Joey, I'm Drakkel.
Hi, I'm Joey, and it's been never since I last seen One Piece. Last seen? What the fuck? Last saw! Wow!
Alright, stitch that together.
Have you seen this One Piece missing?
Oh, goodness.
The whole pirate world is looking for it.
Why can't One Piece crawl?
Oh, this is gonna go great.
There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
My fortune is yours for the taking, but you'll have to find it first. I left everything I own in one piece.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for One Piece, the treasure that would make their dreams come true.
Yo!
Yayo,
dreaming. Don't give it up, Luffy. Dreaming. Don't give it up, Solo. Dreaming. Don't give it up, Nami. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the Grand Line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king.
Yayo, yayo, yayo. Oh, oh. His name is Luffy.
That's Monkey D. Luffy.
King of the pirates. He's made of rubber.
How did that happen? Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. His name's Zolo, he's just like a samurai and a L-A-D-Y. Nami's not shy. The pirate crew coming through, doing their thing with the king of the pirates. He's gonna be king.
Yayo, yayo, yayo. Oh, oh. Set sail for One Piece. It's the name of the treasure in the Grand Line. Yayo, yayo. Set sail for One Piece.
Feel free to tell me how much you know about One Piece.
Okay, so
Okay.
Joey, you're us first.
Well, I know nothing about One Piece, that's why we're here.
Yeah, that is why we're here. So I've read all the manga like twice, maybe 3 times. It's been a lot. The latest arc is so good. That's my One Piece experience. How about you, Crossy?
I read One Piece back when I was reading all the Shonen Jump action manga because I've always been a very big battle manga aficionado. I really love that stuff. Then they dropped it. I can't remember why. And then I can't remember why. I think it might be you. I suddenly started rereading again. And I marathoned the entire thing in like a week. Just 1 week.
And this is only like a month ago, so you're super fresh on this.
Yeah, I just shotgunned the entire manga.
And got really sad at Dressrosa like all of us.
Yeah, like I didn't retain any of it. There was the only part where I skipped it. The only part in the entire manga where I skipped something. But I don't think we'll get up to
We're
that
not
part.
getting there.
Yeah.
Hey Drakkel, what's up?
Hi there. I've been watching One Piece. I started with the 4 Kids, because that was the one that was on the air when I was a kid. I moved on to the actual, or the Japanese subbed anime. I've read the manga through several times, back to front. I've watched all the movies, I've played most of the games, and so yeah, I also have been known to waste a lot of time reading through the wiki just to remind myself of all the minutiae, so I am...
Yep. I have the chapter pages wiki thing open just so I can keep track of which arc happens when.
So yeah, I'm pretty much, like, fully educated on the subject of One Piece.
Yeah. We're all very ready to go.
I have like a panel of experts here.
Yeah, very different than the Sailor Moon episode.
Yeah, like here's me, a complete weenie who doesn't even remember the main character's name half the time.
Speaking of, who's the main character of One Piece?
Okay, so, he's some kind of wiggly pirate boy?
Yes, correct. You got it in one.
That's also his name.
He appears to be made out of noodles.
Okay.
I remember this because of the stupid theme from the 4 Kids dub. He ate a fruit and became Stretch Armstrong or something.
Yeah, that checks out so far.
And, he seems to be some kind of weird fruit-based Kirby, just eating different fruits to gain different powers, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Alright.
See, Gnome's keeping it together because he's used to this.
I mean, you can't see my face. You can't see my grin from literally ear to ear.
Gnome probably has the best poker face of the panel.
I have the best poker voice.
Yeah.
So he finds out about a treasure somehow that's like, oh, the big pirate king man left it somewhere, I know, under the couch or wherever people leave things. I mean, it might as well be, because as far as I'm aware, they still haven't found it. And, like, he left it in one piece, which, yeah, it's treasure, you keep it together. Like, that's not a good clue. Like, oh, I melted it down and put it into 50 different swords across the lands. Like, no, I put it together in one place, it's more valuable that way. So he sets off on an adventure to go find that because ? And then meets a ragtag group of people, including a guy that, like, I nearly said uses swords with his face, but you know what? I'm going to go with it. He has one in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's accurate.
Some girl who's, like, throughout the series, her breasts gradually expand. It's like
That's
the longest breast expansion fetish comic on the planet.
Also, that applies to every female character in the comic.
No, but I mean, this one in particular is noteworthy, and I don't know why.
It's especially noteworthy because there's her first appearance. Man, look how reasonable and good her character design is.
Yeah, like, that's reasonable. She's like a young, like
good.
a teenager-ish.
I think all three of them are teens, except I think Zoro's like 20, but
No, Zoro...
Luffy and Nami are like 17.
All three characters here are like 17 or 17 to 18. I know we're gonna get into detail later, but like for most of the series until a few arcs in, all the characters are roughly the same age.
I remember the lady's name because it's a lyric in the rap. She's a Lady, Nami's not shy. I don't know why I remember that specific line.
I love that rap!
That is the only line I remember of that rap.
I also love it, but the lyrics are awful.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Don't worry. Gnome puts in, like, the opening for what we're talking about in these things. We will
You're gonna
be,
use
like...
that one?
Yeah, the podcast, the YouTube version will be hearing that.
Alright, so who's the fourth crew member?
Oh,
Because that's the first three.
The guy who looks like he looks like an Oni mask. Oh, sorry, a Tengu mask. And has a slingshot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got it. I know his name.
I think he wears jorts.
Sometimes.
Yeah, John Cena is his name.
Yeah, John Cena, okay.
Here's a picture of John Cena.
Yeah. Like, look at that grin.
He's got his short straps on.
Those aren't wait, why does he have a bandage on his stomach? That's stupid. Stop it.
Japanese fashion.
Yeah.
The sword guy has it too.
Yeah.
Pirate sash.
To be fair, it's pretty cool. I like that kind of sash.
Yeah.
Zoro's got a tummy warmer.
Yeah.
That's old man fashion.
So they're all there's a, like, some kind of badass lady. I think she has black hair or bluish hair or some dark colour hair. Yeah, her. Like some weird cowboy pirate. Like, she can't decide which fetish she wants to be. I remember, I think they were a villain that... No, I remember that there's some kind of weird... Like, he looks like a butler with a bowl cut. I can't remember what he does, but he looks like either a butler with a bowl cut or a Tumblr daddy dom. I can't never decide.
I mean... Yeah, maybe. There he is.
You see, there he is, looking like a Silent Hill protagonist.
That character's Sanji.
Yes,
He's
him.
the fifth crew member.
Yeah. Like, he looks like he's posing for an indie band album cover. Like,
the other crew member was Nico Robin. She's, I think, the seventh or eighth crew member?
She's came
up
after
there.
Sanji.
Oh, and there's
Ways
some kind
after,
of... There's some kind of weird creature that looks like a reindeer but isn't.
I mean... Yes, actually there is, yes, yeah. That's the
that
sixth
guy.
crew member.
That guy. I think it's a reindeer.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Reindeer don't look like that, but you know what? Well, pirates probably don't know what a reindeer looks like.
That is Tony Chopper.
Okay.
There is a reason he doesn't look much like a reindeer while being a reindeer.
And also, people literally mistake him for things other than a reindeer as a running
Yeah,
joke.
it's kind of a running gag that no one really knows what he is. Like, no one ever guesses reindeer because he doesn't look like a reindeer.
What I want to know is, why do his horns look like a pack of hot dogs?
See, now that's just artistic style.
Yeah, I think
That's just artistic
That's kind of just how Ichiro Oda draws horns for some reason.
Yeah. I do remember one of the villains, I think it's a villain, that, I don't know, maybe became a friend or something like that. That tends to be what happens in these kind of shows.
Mm-hmm.
I want to... You're going to laugh at me for saying this because I'm 99% sure I'm wrong, but for some reason I want to say a crocodile in a fur coat.
Wow.
Nope, that's a person.
He's named Crocodile.
Yeah, his name is Crocodile.
Okay.
He is not a crocodile.
Okay,
Although there
I was
are
just
actual-
imagining a crocodile in a fur coat and thinking, this is a really ineffective villain, One Piece.
Actually, he's like the best villain in the whole damn series.
Oh god, I thought,
Crocodile rules.
I was looking at the image preview and Discord, and like the hook looked really weird, so it just looked like he had a trumpet on the end of his hand. It's like whenever they beat him in a fight, it just goes. Wah, wah.
And weirdly enough, there is a character that has a trumpet for an arm later
Wait,
in the
what?
series. Yep. We haven't gotten through all the crew members yet.
I don't remember any others because like I watched the first like 3 or 4 episodes of the anime,
Sure.
and that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you already have people who are way beyond that in your metric, because that barely covers Zoro and Nami.
No, I can't figure out who this other person would be. Let's see.
Okay. Well, the other main one is, Frankie.
Isn't there a cook?
There is a cook.
Sanji.
You already talked about him. That's
Yeah.
Sanji.
Oh, okay.
That's Butler Daddy Don Bolka.
Okay.
This is Frankie. Frankie is the architect, or the ship repair boy.
Can he please put on pants?
No,
No.
that's a major character point, is that
no,
he refuses to wear pants.
It is literally a character trait that he does not want to wear pants ever.
Yeah,
I
he
see.
refuses.
Okay, sure.
He's also half robot, so that's part of it, I think. But,
Which half?
the front half.
The front, literally,
It's literally the front half. His back is not robot.
because he could not reach his back is still human flesh, and so
That's his weak point.
so one of his ultimate moves is when he declares that he is invincible by laying on the ground. He's also
This is the comic relief, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's also powered by soda pop.
Yes. Well, he is a little bit comic relief and a little bit... Oda fucking loves robots.
I mean, so
and
do
took
I.
an excuse.
He's the character
But
for
also-
10-year-old boys.
But the thing
Yeah.
is also, like, almost every character in One Piece is comic relief, depending on the situation.
It's true. Except for Robin, and she's funny because she's the ultimate straight man.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the unfunny character. Like,
Oh, is she the one that's like 100% done with this shit?
And to be fair, she even has a running gag, too, though. Where she's just unnecessarily gloomy
yeah, she's the...
about
Every
everything.
every situation she proposes the absolute most horrifying thing that could possibly happen to them.
With a completely straight face and a small smile.
Yeah, Robin is kind of like
Okay,
the character
sure.
who just goes with anything that's happening.
Okay. Now, that's all the crew... That's all the main crew members for this chunk of story. Is there anything else you know about One Piece before we start actually talking about the plot?
Okay, I remember that Noodle Boy's dad?
Noodle Boy?
Yeah, his name's Noodle Boy now. I know his name's like Monkey D. Lupus or something, I don't know.
Lover?
Very close, it's Luffy.
Oh.
Monkey D. Luffy. He's the king of the pirates of the Grand Line. Gaio.
God damn it, no. So I remember something about his dad was a pirate or wanted to be a pirate or something, but wasn't very good at it. Or was
No.
really good at it. It's one of the two.
He was really good at it. But he's not even a pirate.
Just a shipman.
His dad isn't even a shipman. His dad is a revolutionary
Oh,
who
wow.
has
that's
conquered
different to
half the
pirate.
world.
Okay. Okay, so he's really good at his job. I was
He's
incorrect on both
extremely
fronts.
good at his job.
Yeah.
And his old man isn't even the reason Luffy's a pirate at all. Like, it's completely unrelated.
Yeah.
And
It's revealed, like, way later in the series.
We still don't even know too much about his dad, but his dad is a super successful revolutionary.
One of the things with One Piece to keep in mind with the way it tells its story is that Oda, the author, really loves to sneak in tiny little inconsequential details that then become in major storyline things like 8 years down the road.
Yeah, it is an extremely cohesive universe.
So kind of like Yoko Taro, but over a longer period of time.
Kind of like Avatar The Last Airbender does, honestly. I feel like its storytelling was inspired a bit by One Piece.
Okay. So I remember that Noodle Boy, heard a bunch of stories about Pirate King or whatever, and about his treasure, and everybody around him was like, oh, it's just legends or something like that, but he decides to go out and do it because ?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's basically the first chapter, yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
But, it turns out that it's not actually a legend, and it's probably real, and everybody's, racing to go get it, but they still haven't done it yet.
Okay. See, the thing is, everyone knows about the One Piece. It's actually, the main plot thing is that everyone wants the One Piece. Everyone in the world wants the One Piece.
Yeah, and nobody knows what it actually is.
Yes.
I remember that. Nobody knows where it is.
Nobody knows what it is, and very few people know where it is. The main premise of the story is that Gold Roger was being executed, and on the execution plank declared, I left everything I own in one piece, and that started the Grand Age of Pirates.
He was the Pirate King, the titular Pirate King.
Yes. And whoever finds his treasure will be the next Pirate King, is basically the premise.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think he's just, bullshitting everybody, and he actually just lost his phone and wants somebody to find it so they can call his wife and tell him he's dead. He just wants somebody to find his phone. You put one of those things down, you're not finding it again.
They do have phones in this universe.
Wait, what?
They do. They're snails, so they're great.
Okay.
The radio snails.
Let me get you a picture of the snail phones.
I like that you had this on hand.
Well, no, I don't have it on hand.
One of those things about One Piece is that most technology is 17th century pirate stuff, like wooden ships and cannons and muskets and all that.
But then there's some really weird shit.
But then they also have TVs and movies and phones that are powered by snails.
Yeah, and the other thing about the snail phones that makes them great is they look like the person who owns them, or who is currently talking to you. Your snail phone will change to look like the person who called you.
I see.
So they're extremely good.
Oh, wow, look at these snails!
Aren't they great? I could get you, pictures of Denden Mushi forever. They're just all over the dang...
these look like they came straight out of Adventure Time, and I mean that in the best way.
Yeah, I love the Denden Mushi. They're super good.
Okay, what else do I know about One Piece? I remember the first couple of episodes, Noodle Boy meets Slingshot Man. As far as I remember, Slingshot McJort just bumbles into him. Oh, no, doesn't he get, isn't he being convicted of a crime or something like that and needs somewhere to hide or run away or something? I can't... It's one of those two.
Usopp has committed no crimes.
You're conflating multiple story arcs, kind of.
Yes,
and and also other characters that aren't Usopp.
This happens a lot, Drakkel.
All right, so let's pull this apart. Zoro was the crewmate that was convicted of a crime.
Okay.
And was going to be sentenced to death.
The sword face man.
Yes.
Sword face man.
Sword face.
Was going to be killed unless he could survive a month, but the Marines weren't planning to honor the deal and were just going to shoot him. So Luffy saves him and he joins the crew.
Okay. So I remember that. Yes.
Usopp tells lies. Usopp is always on the run.
Yes, I remember him. Because I remember being kind of offended. Because,
He's the boy who cries wolf, yeah.
No, I just remember being kind of offended at him because, he's got a big nose, curly hair, and lies a lot, and I've seen that stereotype before.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what the intention was. The joke is that he has a big nose because he's a liar like Pinocchio.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a
Pinocchio reference, but, I'm Jewish, so...
But, I mean, they also did kind of make it the black character.
Yeah.
Even if he isn't that black, he kind of is the black character.
Yeah, especially in the anime, everybody's white in the anime.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Have we mentioned the anime's bad?
Yeah.
But beyond that, the only thing I know about One Piece is that it's a series of progressively larger boats and progressively sillier enemies.
Just sailing to the next bigger boat, getting on that one.
I mean, isn't that basically the plot? I mean, they keep collecting people. They need bigger boats.
They've only had 2 boats in the whole series.
Oh. Why did I get the impression
I
that
mean,
it was like...
technically 3. Luffy started in a fucking rowboat.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, the first several arcs were like a series of like them.
We need a ship. We need a ship. We need a ship. 3 arcs in a row.
And then just like aimlessly wandering around in a raft that they found.
Yeah.
And they do modify
that's...
one of the boats so they can fly.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I think we could start getting into at least the East Blue plot here.
Like, I remember them picking up a chef, which is, Tumblr Daddy Dom McBolcut.
I'm very
I think Crossy's gonna, like, lose their mind over these names. Like, I remember that guy is a chef, and I think when I was waiting for something more interesting to come on, I saw that episode where he joined them, and it was something about how he's not that much of a fighter, but he's a really good cook, but he's actually a really good fighter, I think.
He's both.
Yeah, he's the, like, 3rd strongest member of the crew for a long time. And he might still be, but it's hard to say.
Well, yeah, it's like him, Zoro, and Sanji are the hard hitters.
Yeah. They are dubbed the Monster Trio for, like, the first... pretty much until the time skip. And then I think it still persists.
Yeah, like during the when they go underwater, the Fishman Island, like they're called the Monster Trio there too. And they still do all fighting.
Right. It's just, it feels a little less so after certain things happen with Sanji after Fishman Island, but we'll get there in 3 episodes.
But yeah, beyond that, the main thing that I know is that Noodle Boy eats a lot more weird fruit and gains more powers, so I've decided...
Okay. That is something you are extremely wrong about.
Exact...
Really?
The most wrong.
I feel like before we even get to the actual plot summary, we need to go into some, like, how this world functions.
Yeah, I agree, because it's just fun to talk about.
Because there's a lot of very important rules, which I can go over if you'd like to.
I mean, I think all of us could.
Yeah.
Like, am I as wrong about this as I was about that girl in Sailor Moon, where I got literally everything about her character wrong?
More so.
There are aspects of truth to what you say.
Fruits grant people superpowers. That is the one thing you have correct.
And everybody's eating fruits. Just everybody's got.
Everyone important is eating a fruit except like half the crew.
Yeah.
Because they're not important, apparently.
Well, no, because they're important in other ways.
Do we want to get can we just lay it out then specifically, or do we want to?
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing right now.
Okay. So basically, one of the core concepts of One Piece is that there's these things called devil fruits. And if you eat one, you get a superpower at the cost that if you go into water, you become limp and drown.
Yeah, you can never swim again. Being in salt water immobilizes and paralyzes you.
Oh, so Noodle Boy can't swim?
Noodle Boy cannot swim. Noodle Boy will just become noodles.
And later on, they introduced other things that can stop devil fruits users as well,
But it's all stuff related to the ocean. Basically, you're cursed by the sea, which is a problem because unlike our world, where we're like 60% ocean, it's like 95% ocean.
One Piece world is nothing but ocean and islands. And
so it's like a less pretentious water world.
There is a single continent. It is called the Red Line, and it is just a giant strip of land that circumnavigates the globe from the North Pole to the South Pole.
I think we might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves on that.
Right. But that's the only continent. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like everything else is ocean.
It's a predominantly ocean world, and most characters are either pirates or navies, so you're always around.
Or people who live on their islands forever.
Yeah. But back to the devil fruit thing is that you get a superpower, and it's not really like, and they run the gamut of like, main character Luffy is made of rubber. The character Robin has a fruit where she can sprout duplicates of her body parts.
Yes. She ate the blossom fruit that lets her grow parts of herself everywhere.
All of the devil fruits have like punny names on what the power they give.
Most of them are sound effects.
Yeah, they're a sound effect fruit, like the gum fruit or the chop fruit that the first villain has.
Yeah,
the first real villain.
And the other very important thing about them is that there's only one of each in the entire world. So Luffy is the only rubber person.
There are no other gum fruits. There are no other gum fruit users. There's only one gum fruit, and Luffy ate it.
So there's only one Noodle Boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can only eat one. If you eat a second one, you
die.
It kills you.
Oh wow, I was really wrong about that then. Holy shit.
Yes. that is a major plot point, that a second devil fruit will kill you. And technically there is another Noodle Boy, but we won't talk about him, because he doesn't matter.
I really want somebody to write, like, some kind of alternate universe One Piece thing where an alternate universe Noodle Boy comes in to fight himself, called There Can Only Be One Noodle Boy.
There is another. You were saying there is a
Noodle Boy
later in the series.
There is a boy who has the power of noodles. That is not Luffy.
Oh no! So what do I call our Noodle Boy?
Well, you can keep calling him Noodle Boy because the other one is completely fucking irrelevant. He's like a one-off enemy for Sanji to fight at the beginning of another arc. Not even at the beginning of an arc. At the intermission between two arcs.
Yeah, he's
completely irrelevant.
So he's a filler. He's a filler bad guy.
Kinda. Like,
not filler.
He does serve a purpose.
Canon, but
he stalls Sanji, so Sanji can't help with a different fight and possibly save the day.
He's not. He's a bit villain in an arc, not one of the main villains of an arc.
Yeah.
It's one of those that they fight for like 4 pages and then they move on.
I think he holds Sanji up for like a whole chapter, but yeah, it's just a quick fight.
But another thing is that as Crossy was getting to, like, a lot of the major characters have devil fruit powers, but also a lot don't. Like Zoro and Sanji don't. Yeah,
and they're two of the strongest people
super strong
in the crew.
Yeah, so that's another thing is that even though there are superpowers, like the characters can still be extremely dangerous and strong without them. In this world.
I mean, you've got to be pretty skilled with a sword to use it in your teeth. Like, is that actually a part of his fighting style?
Yeah, that is actually his thing.
He uses 3 swords, so he has one in each hand and one in his mouth.
That's his 3-sword fighting style that he invented.
How does that even work?
Kinda.
He swings his head.
He twirls around.
It seems mostly he uses it for blocking more than attacking.
I feel like he's literally used the sword in his mouth like twice in the whole series. Like, it's mostly for show.
Yeah, a lot of times he just carries it.
Or while he has 3 swords, he can do certain special moves that he can't without holding 3 swords. But, like, as far as I could tell, the 3rd sword does fucking nothing, so who knows?
If he's being really annoying, you can shove it in his mouth and he'll shut up.
Oh, the other really good thing about Zoro is his move names, by the way. Because they're all really good puns. Like, his signature move, the main one that uses the 3rd sword is called Onigiri, which is the Japanese word for rice ball. However, it uses different kanji. And Oni is the kanji for, like, Oni, demon. And then Giri is the kanji for cut, so it's demon cutting sword.
Yeah. His puns are very elaborate puns.
They're all really goofy.
I mean, that's just Japanese puns. Like,
they're all goofy food names that coincidentally sound like a really badass sword technique because they changed the kanji.
Yeah, it's also, like, every major character has a naming scheme for their special attacks. Like, Luffy names all of his attacks after weapons. Yeah. Like, he's got the gum rifle,
pistol, bazooka,
machine gun,
balloon.
Yeah, and Sanji names his after cooking techniques. Or
they're named after different cuts of meat. Like, they're mutton shot and, shoulder shank chop.
Yeah, his signature move is flambe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine too, but that's because I'm actually a cook, so...
I mean, he's actually a cook. He's the reason they haven't fucking starved. Because they were gonna do that before he joined.
There are many instances in the series where Sanji is not around and the characters try to feed themselves.
And it always goes badly. It always goes badly. It has never once gone well.
I'm trying to think of what else is important to understand the world before we get into the actual plot.
I mean, it's split into four seas.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4 big ocean... Well, 5 or 6, actually.
Oh, God.
They expanded on it a little. It was originally 4, and then it became 6, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Basically, the point is that there's a pirate king who 20 years ago, before the start of the series, died, left his treasure. All the pirates want to get it so that they can be the pirate king, but nobody's been able to find it.
And the only clue is that he's the only pirate who successfully circumnavigated the globe. So it must be at the end of the Grand Line, which is the equatorial line that is a very difficult sea that's very hard to sail.
Yeah, it's a very weird area. But maybe we should just get into the plot.
Sounds good.
Okay. Like, I know literally nothing about the plot, so this is...
Alright, well, let's start with a man named Red-Haired Shanks.
Okay.
This man is the reason Luffy became a pirate, and is probably who you were thinking of was a dad.
Yeah, I thought this isn't his dad?
He's just some guy.
Yeah, he's just some guy.
I hate his weird, like, flip crocs.
They're great.
Everyone in One Piece wears flip-flops or boots.
No, these aren't flip-flops, they are flip crocs.
So Shanks' deal is that he is, in the current age, one of the greatest pirates of all time. But 10 years ago, he was just some upstart rookie. And that's when Luffy met him. He decided to crash on Luffy's island for like a month. And Luffy thought he was just the coolest dude. And his crew is full of these friendly guys, and he and Luffy would play all the time. Then when the Shanks' crew was going to leave, Luffy's like, alright, I want to join you. And they're like, you're 10. No.
Yeah, that's, you know what,
Yeah.
that's fair.
They're like, the ocean's too dangerous for a kid like you. So Luffy cuts his face open. To prove that he's tough enough for the ocean. And that's why he has that cheek scar.
He has a scar? I never noticed before.
He has this scar with some stitches right under his left eye.
Oh, yeah.
That's Monkey D. Luffy.
Like, that was real close to your eye, kid.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah. He was
dangerous.
super stupid.
This 10-year-old was very irresponsible.
Yeah. As you might have guessed.
Although saying that, a lot of the stories of my childhood involve me getting injured.
Yeah.
Mostly because of my own fault.
So anyway, because he proves how tough he is that way, Shanks stays for like another week, but they still aren't going to take him because he's not even 10 right now. I think he's like 7. He was a little kid.
Yeah, because he moves later after that, so he's definitely very young.
Yeah. So while Shanks is staying, and after Luffy proves how strong he is, he eats a fruit that they had out because he thought it was dessert. And that was the gum gum fruit. And then he got superpowers, and Shanks was like, now you can never be a pirate because you can't swim.
Yep.
It's one of the things with the series is that they ramp up the devil fruit stuff, where like in the first several arcs, nobody has them, and there's like nobody even...
There's like 5 devil fruits in the entire East Blue. People don't even know what the heck Luffy is because they don't understand devil fruits. And it isn't until, I think, Arlong, when Arlong's like, oh, I know what a devil fruit is, fuck you, and he throws Luffy in the ocean. That's a great moment.
Oh, that sounds
It is
great.
fantastic. He's like, I know how this works, let me just toss you in the sea, and you'll die. Problem
Yeah.
solved.
But anyway, Shanks.
Yeah, Shanks ends up that Shanks is just partying with Luffy, and Luffy eats the gum gum fruit, and then some mountain bandits show up, because Luffy's apparently born on a fairly big island that has mountains. And the mountains bandits think they're all hot shit, and they kind of mess up the bar, and then leave laughing, or leave angry and mad, because the pirates drank all the rum.
Shanks' crew drank all the... Yeah.
Yeah, then...
And they have this moment where the lead bandit, like... I think he smashes a bottle over Shanks' head.
It's the last bottle of rum, and Shanks offers it to him. He's like, you think one bottle's enough for me and my crew? And just smashes it on Shanks' head.
But Shanks doesn't do
Rude.
anything because he's a cool guy, and he's not gonna stoop low enough to fight some bandit over a bottle of rum. And Luffy's very mad about this. Luffy's very upset by this. He says everyone should fight
All the time.
Stand up for yourself. He's
Yeah,
so
so
mad.
Luffy goes over to start shit with the bandits.
Yep. And then...
With his weird noodle appendages.
Basically they almost kill him, but then he lives because he's made of rubber.
Yeah, basically one of the things of being made of rubber is that he's he's nearly immune to blunt force.
Yeah, that makes
punching
sense.
him does almost nothing. Shooting him does literally nothing. The bullets just bounce back.
But he's still weak to swords and stabbing and all that.
Pointy things and swords are the main way to hurt Luffy. Everything else does nothing. So the bandits just kind of start tossing him around because he's funny. Because he's like a tiny child made of bouncy ball.
So is he literally made of rubber?
Yes. Every single part of his body is rubber, including his blood vessels, his bones, his skin. It's all rubber.
So would setting him on fire melt him?
No.
I mean, it might. I don't know if he's ever been set on fire.
He's been on fire before. He's been blown. He's been
to
in
be fair,
explosions
setting
before,
normal
come out
people
fine.
on fire melts them. That's a thing fire does to people.
I think it's implied that he's more of a natural rubber than like manufactured rubber.
Okay, that's fair.
Like straight from a tree.
Like
Anyway, the bandits are messing with Luffy, and Shanks comes to the rescue.
Yep. Saves the day. The bandits end up using a smokescreen after they get their entire crew destroyed, and the leader of the bandits gets on a boat with Luffy and tries to sail out to sea. He's like, they'll never find me here. They wouldn't think a mountain bandit would go to the ocean to escape.
In this world full of pirates.
And then we get introduced to another setting element, which is a main reason most people don't set sail in this world. Sea Kings.
Which are giant monsters that live in the ocean.
Here there be dragons is true of 80% of the ocean.
Okay. So
a fucking dragon comes out of the ocean and destroys the boat and eats the guy alive. Luffy can't swim. However, Shanks swam out to shore all the way there and saved Luffy from getting eaten by the thing.
What a nice man.
And then he literally stared it down and said, fuck off, and the thing fucked off. The dragon just left. It wasn't gonna mess with Shanks.
Yeah, but it should also be pointed out that in the course of saving Luffy, Shanks has one of his arms bitten off by the sea.
Okay.
When he grabbed Luffy away from it, he lost his arm. His left arm. Which is why that picture has a cape over it.
Yeah, it's a cool cape.
It is a cool cape. So that's the intro arc that sets Luffy on the narrative to become Pirate King. The last thing Shanks does before leaving is saying, here's my hat. And then he gives Luffy the straw hat that Luffy is always wearing for the rest of forever. And he says, I want it back when you're a great pirate.
Okay, and then he fucking dies, doesn't he?
No, he hasn't died yet. He's actually a huge big shot now.
Oh, normally after somebody is bequeathed something, the person who bequeathed it to them just straight up dies.
Now, to be fair, most of the time that happens in One Piece, they do
most
die.
of the time they do. Shanks is like the exception.
If you're a parent or a loving figure to a child in One Piece,
you're dead.
There's a very high chance you're not going to make it very long.
I mean, that's just true of all media.
If a sad child loves you, you are not going to last long in this world.
That is true of all media.
But Shanks is the exception in that he not only is still alive, but he also is now considered one of the 4 strongest pirates on Earth, or the world.
Okay.
So he did pretty well for himself after leaving Luffy's tiny island. So 10 years later, Luffy sets out in a rowboat, and the first chapter ends with his rowboat inside a whirlpool.
Great. What a lucky kid.
He's like, well, I can't believe I'm dead already.
Luffy has a very blasé attitude about dying.
He has a big grin.
Literally, the first thing he does when he sets sail is almost die, and he's just like, well, guess that's as far as I can go.
Sure.
Also, when he set sail, he punched out that Sea King that ate Shanks' arm. That's like the first thing he did. And then the second thing he did is get caught in a whirlpool, and he's like, well, I'm fucked.
Wow, what a bad day.
So he sticks himself in a barrel, and that barrel is picked up by another pirate crew. And he pops out, beats up the pirates, ditches them, and kidnaps their cabin boy. And this.
Well, he meets this cabin boy for the pirates called Kobe, who is he's a soft boy.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be a pirate, but he was trying to go on a fishing trip
and actually got on the wrong boat.
Sorry, how do you accidentally trip and become a pirate?
He went on the wrong boat.
And they kidnapped him.
He thought he was getting on a fishing boat.
Okay.
And he got on a pirate boat by mistake. And so he is held captive by the evil pirate captain named Alvida, who is a big giant woman with a huge iron mace.
Okay,
who Luffy beats in one punch. And then, so as a result of that, Kobe decides he's going to go with Luffy, because Kobe wants to be a Marine. More than anything, it's his big dream. He wants to be a Marine. And so
he Luffy's and Kobe sail off to another island that is known for having a Marine base.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, ending up on the wrong boat and accidentally becoming a pirate is a kind of mistake I would make, so this kid's experience resonates with me. When you walk into a shop and you realize it's the wrong shop, so you just end up looking around awkwardly for a little bit and pretending to...
I guess I'll buy something then.
Well, no, you pretend, oh wow, this kid looks like a hamster.
Kinda, yeah, he's a total dweeb.
Yeah. This is if a gerbil was a person.
I think he's already 12 at that point.
Yeah, he's 12 or 13.
Yeah,
he actually goes through a fairly large growth spurt, and it's kind of nuts.
This is actually him bigger than he originally was. He's definitely taller in that picture.
That mop is taller than he is.
To be fair, most mops are when you're a kid.
But that becomes one of the side plots is Kobe
becoming a good Marine, yeah.
Yeah, slowly rising up the ranks in the Navy is one of the small side plots of the whole series.
And the covers of each chapter, we get these little side stories. So each chapter has the next episode of that story.
So the next arc was, there was a point where Luffy's asking about the island.
And they find out Pirate Hunter Zoro is being held captive here.
Yeah.
And that he's going to be killed in a week. But then they talk to Zoro, and he's like, "Oh, they said if I last a month without food, they'll set me free."
Yeah, and the thing is that everyone's afraid of Zoro because he has a reputation.
Because he's a really
as
good bounty hunter.
Yeah, but everyone's afraid of him because they think he's like.
Yeah,
a
and
demon.
Luffy's just like, join my crew.
Oh, we should probably mention Zoro's nickname. He's Pirate Hunter Zoro.
Yeah.
That's his thing. He's captured like a dozen high-profile East Blue bounties by this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what happened is, but the way that he got captured is, he was in a restaurant in town, and then the bratty son of the head marine officer on the island, came in with a bunch of mean dogs that were like biting people, and so he
kicked
took
the
down
dogs.
the dogs. He kicked, yeah. And so the bratty son of the marine officer
had him tied up for a month.
had him, yeah.
And sentenced
Said
to
if
death.
you, yeah. Well, what he said was that if you don't eat for a month, we'll let you go, and if you do, we'll execute you.
We know Zoro's a good guy because a little girl comes by and feeds him, and she makes these really, really shitty onigiri, these really shitty rice balls. The spoiled son catches her at it, and he destroys the rice balls, covers them in mud, and we know Zoro's a good guy because he's like, "Give it to me," and then they feed him.
Feed me those.
Yeah, and then
when he walks away,
he says that they're delicious, and that's how we know he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking at this kid and his mop, and I'm just realizing he just looks like a younger, nerdier Trunks.
We should show a picture of Helmeppo, the bratty son.
Yeah, so this is the spoiled son who absolutely looks like a fucking spoiled son.
Yeah. His onion hair.
Oh, wow.
The most spoiled son to ever be a spoiled
Holy
son
shit.
in a video game.
His chin
Yeah.
isn't just a butt, it's two butts.
To be fair, Frankie has 3 butts for his chin.
Yeah, he does. You can go back and admire Frankie's 3-butt
One
chin.
of the calling cards of Oda's art style is characters having weird facial features.
Yes, everyone looks extremely weird, and I appreciate it.
Why is his hair a telephone?
No, I think he's supposed to look like an onion.
It's like a bowl cut onion.
So then at this point we meet Helmeppo's dad, who is the officer in charge of the Marines here, who is Morgan.
And he's a fucker.
He's a big giant guy with an axe for a hand, and he's got an iron jaw.
Yep. Axe Hand Morgan is a prick, and we aren't joking about that iron jaw.
Oh, wow, okay. So this is like alternate universe Bane, okay.
I guess so, but his whole deal
so
is...
anyway, let's this is a completely unimportant arc, really. So, at the end of the day, he orders Zoro executed, Luffy says no, Luffy punches out all the Marines, and he's about to get stabbed by a bunch of Marines with swords, and then Zoro saves him.
I thought you said he's about to get stabbed by a Freezosaurus. It's like, wait, what? When did
A
dinosaurs come
Freezosaurus,
into
yep.
this?
That's a later arc, actually.
What? I can't tell what's... Are you telling me weird lies?
Slightly. There is an ice island that has a dragon on it later.
And there's also dinosaurs.
There are also dinosaurs.
So there was probably a Freezosaurus.
These are separate events.
We are not in the crazy part of the story yet. We're still in the relatively, normal human
so
world.
We're in the part where being made of rubber is the weirdest thing in the story.
Where a guy with a giant axe for a hand is the weirdest villain that's come up
Yeah,
so far.
Which immediately gets one up because the next villain is 50 times better, and one of the best villains in the whole damn series.
Yeah, but also, this is where we get Zoro's backstory.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because as he's about to be executed, he flashes back to his childhood
Right.
where he was training to be a good sword boy.
Yeah.
And he had a rivalry with a girl who was the daughter of the dojo owner.
And she beat him 1,000 times in a row. It's worth mentioning every character in One Piece has a tragic backstory, and it's extremely important to the crew.
Yeah. And so what happened is Zoro and this girl, Kuina, had made this promise that one of them was going to become the greatest swords person on Earth.
Okay.
Or I keep saying on Earth, but it's not on Earth.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then she dies.
Oh.
And then she died.
Well, I guess he won.
Yeah, it's not even a dramatic death. She just... Yeah, one day Zoro comes up and the dojo owner's there and he says, she fell down the stairs and died.
Oh.
So And so her father gives Zoro her sword, which is the white sword that he always has.
Yep, because he's got 2 black swords and a white sword, and the white sword is her sword.
Mm-hmm. And so that's his story, is that he has to become the greatest swordsman ever, both for his own dream and also to fulfill her dream.
Okay.
So Zoro joins the crew. Kobe gets to join the Marines, and the Marines hated Morgan. So they're like,
Yeah, so they're like...
Yeah, he was a tyrant who like demanded people make statues of him and pay him tribute and everything.
Yeah. And he was slowly strangling the island, pretty much.
Yeah, and so he gets arrested, and Helmeppo is forced to join the Marines to atone for
his father's sins. Yeah.
So
Okay.
He's forced to actually be a proper Marine. He was always a Marine, but because his dad was in charge, he was allowed to like, goof off and do whatever.
I don't think he was actually a member of them. He was just the son who hung around.
No, he had a rank, which is how he could command people around.
So
So he was definitely a member. Just he didn't have duties because his dad.
He wasn't a soldier.
Yeah, he wasn't a real
Marine. He was just kind of there. But he's forced to join, and they go off and have their own sort of adventure, becoming proper Marines.
Yeah, so Helmeppo and Kobe.
That's the first cover.
Helmeppo and Kobe become buddies.
And then they meet Nami, who you've seen already, the red-haired girl.
I remember really liking her when, like, her design as a kid, because she has a tattoo, and I like tattoos.
She is extremely cute and good, and her tattoo is important.
I mean,
she's a thief.
There's a reason for like every tattoo, Drakkel. It's because somebody decided to get a tattoo.
No, well, this one has a more specific reason.
We'll get to it in like 3 arcs. So first, though, the way that they meet Nami is incredible. So Zoro and Luffy sail to a new city by mistake because they have no navigation skills and they're in a rowboat still.
They're kind of just
floating until they hit an island. Yeah.
And what happens is a bird. They are starving because they don't have any food. And then Luffy spots a bird up in the air, and he says, "I'll stretch my arm out and grab that bird."
And the bird ends up being like 50 feet long and just flies off.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And so Zoro decides he needs to catch up to him, so he's like rowing the boat like 80 miles an hour.
Can. Yeah.
And then there's these three jabronis are in the ocean, and he's like, they're like, "Hey, help us! We're stranded." And he's like, "I'm not stopping. You better jump in." So these 3 random dudes just jump into his boat, and then they say that their ship was stolen by a mysterious thief who had the power to foresee weather.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they attempt to rob Zoro, and Zoro's like, "No, you're rowing now," and beats the crap out of them, and they're rowing now after the bird.
And I barely remember.
But anyway, the more important thing is how Luffy meets Nami, because he gets dropped by the bird, he lands in a city, and Nami was on the run from a bunch of pirates she just stole a ton of treasure from.
Yeah, so basically they end up in this town that has been overrun by a pirate
That's
crew.
been mostly abandoned, it's been overruled, but we'll get there in a second. So the thing Nami does is when he lands, like, she's staring at Luffy in this pile on the floor, the 3 pirates chasing her are staring at Luffy in this pile on the floor, Luffy gets up, Nami says, "Thanks for saving me, boss," and runs off, and the pirates jump Luffy.
Oh, that's clever.
She immediately throws him under the bus and runs away.
And it's great.
And this would be Orangetown.
So that island ends up, this is Orangetown, yes, and it ends up that it was taken over by Buggy the Clown, one of the best pirates in the series.
I love Buggy the Clown.
I hate clowns.
Buggy the Clown is our second devil fruit user.
Okay.
And he ate the opposite of Luffy's fruit. He ate the chop chop fruit.
So he's made of swords?
Which allows him to split his body, and his body cannot be cut.
Okay.
Anytime it's cut, it just splits, and the parts can fly around. So he can basically extend and stretch exactly like Luffy, but he's immune to cutting things and not immune to blunt things.
Yeah, so he's basically Luffy's foil.
Okay.
And they're actually, like, perfect foils, too, because Luffy is all about, like, the friendship and adventure, and he's all about the treasure and the glory.
Yeah, all Buggy wants is treasure, and he has a whole pirate crew of clowns and circus people.
Like, do you mean clowns as in idiots, or clowns as in actual...
I mean, as in literal, actual clowns.
Like, they're all based on circus
like
stuff.
Buggy himself.
Yeah. Like, his main crew members are a guy on a unicycle with a sword and a lion tamer.
Yeah.
Who rides a giant lion. It's huge. It's as big as a house.
So, Orangetown, Buggy has taken over Orangetown, and all the Orangetown people are afraid of him.
All the oranges are afraid of him, yeah.
Luffy ends up being captured by Nami. Nami turns him in turns him into Buggy in exchange for more of his treasure.
Before this, Luffy asks her to be his navigator, and she lies and says, yeah, I'll do it. And then she captures him.
I'll do it if you get in this steel cage for me.
Yeah, this whole arc is Luffy asking Nami to join his crew, and she's going, sure, and then tricking him.
Yeah, like 3 times in a row.
Excellent. You think he'd learn by the first time.
Yeah. So, Buggy's big thing, besides being a chop man who can split apart in a bunch of different ways, and that's why he has knives on his shoes, by the way, so he can use his feet as weapons. So, aside from that, his other big claim to fame is the Buggy Ball, which is a special cannonball that is particularly incredibly unreasonably destructive.
Yeah, it blows up an entire city block.
It levels an entire line of houses.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very flashy way to die, so he shoots it at Luffy. And
so he decides that, he's aiming the cannon at Luffy.
Yeah, and he tells Nami to do it to prove her loyalty.
And we know Nami's a good person because she really sweated it out, but she couldn't do it. So that's how we know she's a good person.
She another crew member tries to light it, and she reflexively hits him with her staff. She has in the first several arcs, she carries a
quarterstaff. Yeah,
quarterstaff.
A quarterstaff is basically her weapon for the entire thing. It just gets upgraded later.
Yeah, but then they hesitate, and the crew decides to attack. Nami was messing with them. They attack. Zoro makes the save, and Zoro tries to fight Buggy.
But he's a chop man and cannot be cut.
And that's when they first find out
that he's a chop man. Yeah.
One of Buggy's arms that Zoro cut off flies up and stabs Zoro in the back.
Oh, rude.
This begins one of the running things in this series, is Zoro getting horrifically mortally wounded and
then standing up and fighting someone else anyway.
Yeah. And so they light the cannon to shoot Luffy, and then with the Buggy Ball, and Zoro, just because he's also one of the strongest people ever, he just picks up this giant cannon and flips it over backwards so it aims at Buggy and this whole crew, and then they jump off the roof.
Oh yeah, also to continue with his feat of strength, Luffy's still in the steel cage, they couldn't get him out, but Zoro picks up the entire steel cage with him in it and jumps off the roof with it.
With a horrible stab wound in the gut.
And this guy's just a regular-ass human.
Yeah, this guy can bench press.
Theoretically.
He has no magic or superpowers. He's just
later in the
tough.
story, he just bench presses 10 tons. That's a thing where he's just doing that to train.
There's a point in a fight later on where he throws an entire house at somebody.
Yeah, he does do that, yes. He does
he's
throw
like
a house at somebody.
Mr. Incredible, but...
It's kind of actually just a thing that in the One Piece universe, people can get this strong if they try real hard.
Yeah.
There are people that are
there are other people of his
basically,
there's a lot of people.
Basically, there's no physical cap, so if you train hard enough, you can get stronger. Because
you know what? That's the best fitness motivation I've ever heard.
Zoro fights the guy on the unicycle with the sword, and the guy starts keep kicking Zoro in his old stab wound from Buggy's fight. And Zoro's like, alright, cool. You think that my wound is a handicap, so he cuts himself open further with his own sword.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you, that's why, and then he wins.
Because Zoro's crazy and tough, and then he wins, yeah.
Yeah, and then he wins the fight with, the next blow, and then immediately falls over, because he just cut himself on his old wound.
Yeah,
that motherfucker.
He's literally, almost cut in half from the side of his stomach to the outside, and he's just alright, I'm gonna take a nap now, and just lays down in the street.
Yep.
Yep, nap time.
And then Luffy beats the shit out of Buggy by kicking him in the balls.
Yeah. But
literally, that's how the fight ends, is he gets kicked in the balls.
Yeah, but there's important story stuff in there.
It doesn't matter. It really isn't important.
Because it turns out that Buggy and Shanks were on the same pirate crew together when they were kids.
Yeah,
and
that's the other part that makes them a foil, is Buggy hates Shanks and wants to murder him at every opportunity.
But he seems like such a cool dude.
He is an extremely cool dude. Buggy's mad at Shanks because Shanks saved his life when he tried to commit suicide.
Yeah, well, Buggy, when they were kids, they were on a pirate crew together, and Buggy accidentally ate the chop fruit, thinking that it was fake, and he could sell it for a lot of money, because devil fruits are worth a lot of money.
He made a fake chop fruit so he could eat it and show everyone that he ate it, and then he would sell the real one for a ton of money. But then Shanks, accidentally had him eat the right fruit or something.
And then Shanks saved him, and then but Buggy was like, "Oh, now thanks to you, I can't get all the sunken treasure. There's so much treasure under the water. You've ruined my life."
Yeah, he also did this literally after he found a pirate map to an undersea treasure.
Aww.
So he's super upset because now he can never get it.
So Buggy hates Shanks, and Luffy hates Buggy because Buggy hates Shanks, and Luffy kicks him in the balls, and that just stops Buggy long enough for Luffy to do his special move, which becomes sort of his finishing move for the first half of the series. Is the bazooka, where he double punches, open palm strikes, and Buggy is
he stretches his arms
off.
back really, really, really far, and while he's standing next to his opponent, and then whiplashes them into their face with a double palm.
And they go flying into the air like Team Rocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so he Team Rockets them?
Yes, Buggy gets launched to a different island.
He does this a lot for early arcs, but he kind of stops doing it after a while.
Yep.
But then another thing is that his arms didn't go with him because Nami
tied him
up. Stole his arms and legs while he was like chopped up and flying around and tied them up. So he's just like a head with hands and feet, and he gets flown off, and then he has his own side adventure.
Yep.
Okay.
He's the next cover story arc is him getting his limbs back.
Sure, One Piece, whatever. Yeah,
but
that's
then
fine.
the townspeople come back and they think that Luffy's crew are the pirates and chase
so
them off.
they run off with some of Buggy's treasure, and that's that. That's how that part. And then they get on Nami's boat because Nami stole a boat earlier, if you'll remember.
Yes, she did.
And she actually can sail them to places.
Yeah, because she's not an idiot.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
She's still stressing. She's stressing all this time that like. She is not actually part of the crew. She's just collaborating with them for now. And Luffy's
I'm just
like,
letting you travel with me, is what her words are.
So,
and so this leads us into
Usopp.
Yeah, Jortsman.
Wow, I almost completely forgot Usopp's arc.
Usopp's arc is pretty short, honestly. It's really short. So he gets to this island. Usopp's a liar. Usopp cries wolf. But then it turns out real pirates are attacking, and no one believes Usopp when he tries to warn him. So it's on Usopp, Luffy, and Zoro to stop the pirates.
So they find out that Usopp is friends with the rich girl in town whose parents are dead, and she's being raised by her butler. Usopp and Luffy find out they find out a couple of things. First of all, they find out that Usopp is the son of one of Shanks' crew members, who Luffy knew when he was a kid.
Okay.
So they share stories and bond over that, and Usopp thinks Luffy's real cool.
Then they find out that Usopp's friend's butler is actually a retired pirate captain who is plotting
to murder her and steal her house.
Okay, yeah.
They find this out because they overhear the hypnotist talk about this.
Yes, yeah. The only other important member of Kuro's crew,
which is Django, who is one of the butler's crew members.
He is the captain of the current captain of the Black Cat Pirates.
And he's also literally Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a mushroom on his chin.
Okay.
I should get an art of him. Oh,
you need to pull up a picture of Django.
First, here's the butler. This is Kuro. And there's his weapon, which is an incredible weapon that I love.
He looks like a
He's got sword hands.
bird.
He calls them his cat claws, but they are literally just sword fingers.
He's like a pirate Wolverine. I love it.
He's incredible. And here is Django, his first mate / the captain.
He's a hypnotist. He walks back. He talks like Michael Jackson. He has heart glasses. He has a mushroom growing out of his chin, and he moonwalks everywhere.
Yes, he moonwalks
I like
everywhere.
this man.
Also, his other great character joke is that he's really good at hypnotizing, like extremely good at hypnotizing, but he always hypnotizes himself also.
You'd think after a while he'd learn not to do that.
You'd think, but no, we get really good moments like this, where these 3 kids see him doing something, so he puts them to sleep, and then he also falls asleep.
So, basically, they overhear the hypnotist guy doing this plan, and so they go confront the pirates at the shore.
No one believed Usopp, so they're just going to do it themselves.
Nami and Usopp end up having to fight off the grunts of the pirate crew themselves because, as is something that happens often in this series, both Luffy and Zoro got lost on their way to the island.
Well, more specifically, actually, they had a really good plan. They found, like, the slope that the pirates were going to come up, and they covered it in oil, and they're all waiting at the top, so the pirates will barely be able to get up to them, and they'll just kick their asses on their way up.
They get to the time where the invasion was going to happen.
Show up, and they're on the wrong part of the island.
And then Usopp's like, oh wait, there's another ramp on the other end of the island exactly like this
one.
So
there's 2 parts onto the island.
I'm looking at this picture of like the hypnotist and these 3 kids, and it just looks like some kind of weird napping competition. Just to see who can have the best nap.
Napping is a very important concept in One Piece.
Also in real life.
Luffy, one of Luffy's character traits is that he falls asleep at inopportune
and he
times.
keeps eating while it
It's
happens.
even worse with his brother.
Oh.
His brother is the serious narcoleptic, but yeah.
Yeah, everyone in his family is.
Yeah.
And so what happens is Usopp and Nami get to the part where the pirates are invading. Luffy got lost. Zoro got lost. Zoro's running gag is that he always goes the wrong way.
Yeah, Zoro never is not lost. Zoro is always
Luffy's
lost.
Luffy's dumb, so he always gets distracted.
Yeah. Specifically, they said, all right, the shore's on the north, so Luffy went whichever way the wind was blowing, because that's cold. Cold equals north, right?
Is this what people think when they hear my logic? Luffy logic isn't that far removed from Joey logic, to be honest.
Usopp and Nami, they start off okay holding the guys off, but then they get overwhelmed, and then Zoro and Luffy show up at the right moment. They take out all the grunts. Zoro beats them
really easily, but then Django hypnotizes the whole crew to have super strength. The big gag is Luffy gets hypnotized also, and then kicks all their asses extra harder. So it's just a curb stomp all the way through.
There's a great scene where Luffy runs through all of the crew members, picks up their boat,
and then just rips the front off of it.
Yeah, and then smashes everybody with it, including himself.
Yeah. He drops it on himself, and that's kind of how he gets taken out of the fight for a little bit.
So Kiro shows up. He's like, you crew members better kill these guys, or I'm going to kill all of you in 2 minutes.
And then the girl shows up, and we find out about how evil he actually is.
Yeah, they find everything out. That his whole scheme is unveiled. He wants to steal all of her money and all the town's money so he can retire, even though he was already retired. He wants more money to...
He wants to extra retire. He wants to not be a butler either.
Yeah, he wants to retire from being retired. which I think they just called being dead.
Kiro wants to be sure that he has enough money to live out his days without having to go back to piracy, basically. But
he also doesn't want to be a butler either to this dumb, spoiled, sick girl.
Also, is pretty much... He's brutal to his own crew.
Yeah, he's one of the most evil people in the whole series.
It's a bit cartoonish. We get the girl flashbacking about how much she loved being with him and how much they're basically family, and she gives them presents and everything. And he's just I hated every second of that.
Yeah.
It's a real personal fuck you that he gives her.
So the 3 kids that were napping earlier are Usopp's friends, and they take the girl into the woods to hide her.
And Django chases them. Zoro eventually beats up Django with Usopp's help.
Usopp lays the finishing blow, and then Luffy and
Kuro fight. After Luffy gets out from under the mask he was stuck under.
Yeah, and they have a interesting fight. There's some neat little bits where Luffy stretches out his arm and Kuro runs up his arm and kicks him in the face.
Yeah. This is the first fight where Luffy actually has trouble, but it's also the first fight where we see just how fucking ridiculous Luffy is. He doesn't have a power-up sequence or anything, he's just this ridiculous and always has been.
Yeah.
Especially with the finishing move.
Yeah, that's a running thing in One Piece, is that there's very little training arcs.
There's literally one.
Yeah, you don't really see characters trying to improve. It's just as the fights happen, they unveil things that they've learned in the background.
It's just them thinking on their feet, right?
It's less of a power up, more of a technique up. They just get better at using what they already have.
And plus, Luffy's fighting style is...
I feel like his fighting style is noodle.
His fighting style is noodle, yes. He's super flexible, and he uses that to his advantage. He's really fast, he's really agile, and he uses his rebound for damage.
Yeah, the only character who actually trains up is Zoro, and that's his thing.
Yeah. Zoro's always lifting weights.
It's all strength training to be tougher and cut better things better.
So they have their fight. They have a moment where Kuro unveils his secret attack, where he moves so fast that you can't see him,
and
but he
can't
also
see
can't
either.
See. So he basically just murders his entire crew.
Yeah, he starts cutting up everything around them. There's big slash marks appearing in the rock walls. Luffy gets cut suddenly without knowing what happened. All the crew gets cut up. And then Luffy just reaches his arms out, grabs the guy's face, and slams him into the ground. He's like, I saw you.
Yeah. And then he gives him a super headbutt where he stretches his neck out so his head is like a mile away.
And then it comes back for the super headbutt.
Yeah, and headbutts him so hard he flies through his ship, and he throws all the other parts on the ship, and the day is saved.
Yep.
I'm looking at this image of the kids having the napping competition again, and is it just me, or are those kids, like, weirdly off in perspective?
Oh, yeah.
I think probably
like,
the anime's not great.
We have two artists here.
Yeah.
Please educate me on perspective.
The anime, this was like 97, 98, this anime was running.
It's about the same time as the Sailor Moon we're watching.
But Sailor Moon looks really good.
This isn't that good. This is lower budget.
Yeah, this One Piece is a lower budget anime than in a lot of cases.
And it always
compared
has
to other
been.
shonen
After the
series.
fight, the girl, I think her name is Kaya? Yeah. So
Kaya?
Kaya, to reward
Kaya.
them, she gives them a boat based on her other butler, who looks like a sheep. Yeah, and,
named Mary, whose name is Mary,
Yeah.
and he has a sheep
and
head.
Yep. So they get the Going
And-
Mary, which is a very good boat.
they invite Usopp onto the boat, and he's very emotional about this. And they get,
That's the episode I saw where they invite him onto the boat.
and Luffy is just a really shitty artist, so when they,
He draws them a really bad flag, and it's really funny.
They're pirate
Look
symbol,
at that
and he
shitty
can't-
sheep. Oh my god,
It's
I
so
love
good.
it.
It's
love Mary.
cute.
No, like, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's so cute.
Yeah.
So I need to show you Luffy's flag, though. There's Luffy's original drawing of their pirate flag.
That looks like something I would draw.
It's great, and
a
I
running,
love
it's
it.
another one of Luffy's running gags is he is a terrible, terrible artist.
I mean,
Yup.
same.
And then Usopp draws them a better flag, and it's a much better flag.
That's a much better flag. Like, he did that in, like, Illustrator. Look at that. Look at those vector lines. Like, that's a vector.
Usopp is the craftsman. He's pretty much good at everything related to crafts, including the art.
Well, no, it's kind of a running thing that he's not a good craftsman, but he's a good
Yeah, like a
artist and
tinker.
good
Like,
tinker.
he's not very good at, like, repairing ship. Like, that kind of craftsman. But he's very good at the little stuff. He's very good at.
Little stuff he's good at. His fighting style is he makes a lot of, like, little toys and stuff, and then he shoots them out of a slingshot at people.
Yeah, they call him the sniper, but he's kind of at least the first half of the series. He's more of the gadget guy.
Yeah.
So
like,
he's Inspector Gadget.
One of his big weapons is the ketchup star, which he shoots at people to make it look like they got hurt.
Okay.
Or the Tabasco star, it's super
He's the
spicy and he
lookout.
tries to shoot it in your mouth.
He'll shoot a rotten egg.
The rotten egg star, yes. Where he just shoots a rotten egg at someone's face.
His deadly rubber band shot.
Which is the best move, because it's literally just, he pulls out a rubber band and then, poink.
I hate that, though. That really hurts.
That's the thing, though. Like, every enemy flinches when he does this. Like,
I mean,
everyone.
every person in
Even
the
though
world
it's
flinches when somebody
it's
does
like
that.
so low on the damage scale.
And
It's
then
a
his
nothing.
his most deadly technique is Usopp's spell, where he pulls out a little chalkboard, rakes his fingernails on it, and talks about very gross things, like peeling toenails off.
Yeah, I don't think
Gross.
he uses that one. I don't think he ever uses Usopp's spell after they pass the red line.
No, he doesn't.
What a good attack.
He's one of the characters that his fighting style kind of changes as the show goes on.
Yeah, because he
and
always
gets more
is
stuff.
having new gadgets, and he's always doing new things, and it's fantastic. It's just, his fights are pretty much always the best fights in any given arc, with a couple exceptions for, like, some of the best fights in the series.
Then they, after this, they sail off, and with Nami, they can actually navigate. So they go to the restaurant on the sea.
This is where Luffy's like, we need a cook. And Nami's like, I agree, I will get you a cook for your dumb pirate adventures. And they go to a pirate restaurant, the Baratie. Because Nami can actually get them places they want to go, unlike everyone else.
Yeah, instead of just, like, landing wherever giant birds take you.
Yeah. Instead of that, yes.
And along the way, they meet Yasuke and Johnny, who are two of Zoro's bounty hunting friends, who were just, like, hanging out on a rock in the middle of the ocean, and then Usopp shoots them with a cannon accidentally.
Yeah, because he didn't know anyone was on the rock. He just decided to shoot at a rock for target
But they're the ones that point them to Baratie, which is a
also,
restaurant on
the
the
other
sea.
reason is because one of them is suffering scurvy. So they're like, oh, we need, like, proper nutrition.
And then they feed him oranges, and he's instantly cured. And Nami is like, "That's not how health works. What are you doing?"
Yeah, and so like that's not how health works. She says, and then he instantly pukes blood and falls back over.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
she made him worse by bringing attention to it.
That's how health works. You feed somebody an orange and they're better.
But it's another common joke in One Piece is that people are gravely injured, but then they're fine.
Yeah,
As a punchline. Or the opposite, where they're like, "Oh, I'm fine," and then
like that puke blood fall over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that
they go
happens a
to the Baratie to feed everybody, and then they don't have any money to pay for it, so Luffy just vacuums up so much food. And
Well, what happens is Luffy accidentally destroys the roof of the
I
Baratie.
forgot
Yeah,
about
what
that.
happened? A marine ship, but with a guy by the name of Iron
Full
Fist Full Body, who is a guy with he has like brass knuckles
He's just
built
some
into his
guy.
hand.
He's not important.
Yeah, he's
just
a
some
random
guy.
marine guy, but he attacks them because they're pirates, and Luffy does his move,
Gum
the
Gum Balloon, where he inflates
himself.
Yeah.
And he accidentally reflects the cannonball into the restaurant and blows up the top half of it.
Rude.
And the owner of the restaurant is this crusty old peg-legged pirate by the name of Zeph.
Yep.
Tells Luffy that you're going to have to work for us as a waiter
For an entire year.
for a whole year, and then. So Luffy is going around. He's a terrible waiter. As you can imagine.
He's such a terrible waiter they make him a busboy. Then he's such a terrible busboy that they make him do dishes, and then he breaks every dishes.
You'd think that, like, being made of rubber and being infinitely stretchy would make you a really good waiter.
It could
No.
If you-
Problem is
if
that he
Luffy
eats all
wasn't a clumsy motherfucker.
He also eats all the food before
Yeah,
they
that's
can
what I was
even
thinking, yeah.
deliver it.
Yeah. So basically after a week they're considering firing him already because he's just fucked up everything, but then Don Creek shows up.
Yeah. So one of his crew members shows up.
Yeah,
This,
first
like
Gimp.
emaciated. Yeah, he shows up and he's like, "Please, I know I'm a pirate, but my whole crew is starving."
This is...
And none of the people on the ship want to help him
Because he
they're
doesn't
like,
have
"No,
money.
This is a
That's the big thing. He doesn't have money, so they're like, no money, no service.
yeah." But then the
assistant
blonde-haired waiter Sanji, the Dom.
Yeah, he's
guy,
the second in command of the whole Baratie restaurant.
Yeah.
Sanji
Yeah.
the chef.
He's like, "No, I'll
Yeah,
I'll
Sanji
help
has
you
a
out."
thing about starving people.
Sanji, well, basically, specifically how it works is Sanji lets the chefs throw him out, and then Sanji walks outside with a plate of fried rice and a glass of water and gives it to the guy.
Yeah, Sanji's thing is that he does not want to see people starve,
Yes.
no matter who they are.
So he's like a
He
grandma.
will feed you.
He doesn't want to see people
Yes.
starve, and he doesn't like seeing people waste food. Well, those are his big
Yeah,
things.
so let's actually get into his sad backstory right away.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty good sag. Because it sort of happens before Creek shows up.
Yeah.
It's kind of interspersed a
Yeah,
little
so
So
he's on...
he used to be a cabin boy on a ship, just some random ship in the North Blue, I think. And they, in the middle of a storm, get raided by pirates led by Red Shoes Zeph, who at this point has both his legs and is a huge badass.
mhm.
So they kick the shit out of everyone, take all their treasure, and Zeph makes a big deal about some crew members putting some food into a bag. He's like, "But sir, we're low on meat." And he's like, "I don't care if we're low on meat. You don't steal people's food." And then a huge tidal wave sinks both ships.
Yeah, and Zeph and Sanji are the only ones that survived.
Yep. They're on a tiny little island with 2 bags of food. So Zeph takes the bigger bag because he's the big, healthy pirate adult and says, "I'm going to keep watching this side of the island. You're going to keep watching this side with this bag of food." Sanji complains because it's such a small bag. He's like, "Yeah, but you're such a small kid. It'll be fine."
But you need the extra for growing.
That comes up. So there's plenty of water because the island has like it's like a really bumpy, weird shaped
It's
island.
basically just a rock in the middle of the ocean.
It's basically
that
a
they're sitting
really
on.
weird, big, bumpy rock, yeah. So there's a bunch of little natural lakes in it, so they have plenty to drink, but they have no food. There's nothing living here.
Yeah, and they spend months on
They
this
spend
rock.
a month and a half. It's like 45 days before they see a ship, yeah.
And they get to the point where they're both like emaciated and nearly dying, and Sanji decides...
They're on opposite end of the islands, trying not to move to conserve energy, just keeping watch.
And then Sanji decides, I'm gonna get that guy's food, because he still has a big bag, and I don't have any food left. And he takes a knife, and he goes to attack Zeph. He stabs the bag open and realizes The bag is just treasure.
It's just gold. Zeph had no food.
Yeah, Zeph gave him all the food, and then he looks over and realizes that Zeph cut off his own leg and ate that to survive.
Gross.
And then then eventually they do get rescued, and Sanji decides that
no one will ever starve. Starving is the worst.
He's going to help Zeph start a restaurant, and then together they'll make sure that nobody on the sea goes hungry again.
So
What a nice story.
yeah, so that's why no starving, no wasting.
Yep, and that's why when Don Krieg's pirates show up, Sanji feeds all of them. Because what happened is Don Krieg went to the Grand Line, which is the next big destination, like I said, the second hardest sea in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And they immediately got fucked.
Yeah, they got they had like 50 ships, I think, in their crew.
It's like 30 or 50. Yeah, he has a ton of ships. He's a huge fleet. He's the biggest name in the East Blue for pirates.
The biggest pirate fleet to ever
I keep
come out of East
thinking you're
Blue.
going to say he's the biggest name in esports, and you know what? I'm just going to go with that.
Probably.
Don Krieg is the biggest name in esports. He's got like a world record in roundabout.
The esportiest of games.
All right.
But anyway, their fleet got wiped out. And
by
most
one
of the crew
man.
died
By
by
one
a
man.
single pirate. So Krieg and the remnants of his crew are managed to drift back into the East Blue. They're all starving. They're all half dead. And Sanji feeds them all, and they immediately respond by taking the whole restaurant ship hostage.
Yeah. They need a new boat. Their only boat is like barely moving. So they're going to take the Baratie. That's Krieg's plan, is he wants the Baratie. And he's going to try again. Because Zeph's been to the Grand Line. He's a big name pirate. I want your travel journal.
And it's around this time that Nami steals them Going Merry and leaves.
She takes the Going Merry and runs off.
Great.
So it's just Usopp and Sanji and Zoro and Luffy to fight Don Krieg. But then Mihawk shows up.
Hawkeye Mihawk, the greatest swordsman on Earth.
And he's the one who defeated the fleet of 50 boats by himself,
and
single-handedly.
sailed all the way there from the Grand Line in a coffin that's just floating in the ocean.
He's the number one swordsman in the world, so Zoro's like, alright, I'm gonna beat this guy. Spoiler alert, Zoro does not beat this guy.
Yeah, Mihawk defeats him with a tiny little sword that's like the size of like...
He pulls out it's smaller than a kitchen knife. And Zoro vows to Luffy that he'll never lose to a swordsman again.
Yep, so at this point, Usopp, Zoro, Johnny, and Yasuke all decide that they're gonna take an extra boat and go after Nami to get the Going Merry back. Because they have an idea where she's going. And so they leave, and now it's just Luffy and Sanji.
To beat the Krieg pirates. And after a long fight, they do.
Yeah, it's really complicated.
It's not that
Yeah, basically,
Krieg's a fucking cheater is the main crux of the fight, and Luffy's big thing is you can't win by cheating.
And Sanji decides he's going to join the crew because he wants to find this mystical ocean called All Blue, where fish and sea creatures from all over the world gather.
Yeah.
It's the
Some place where the
food in
currents
world.
all react that there's fish from every ocean there.
And he just wants to cook them.
and this was Zeph's dream, which is why it's important that he's after that.
Yeah, so this is when... So then Sanji also has a boat of his own, and he and Luffy... And then he says that, I know where Nami's going. She's going to this island that's been taken over by Arlong.
Hooray! That was a lot of story.
That was a lot. We went way more in depth than I wanted to, actually.
We've covered maybe...
Like 1/4. We've covered less than 100 chapters, but we can speed up.
Of 800 or so.
Jesus. That's a lot of pirates.
We didn't need to go this in depth.
So
Yeah, sorry about that.
So what I've learned is that Nami's kind of a dick, but awesome.
She's really awesome, yes.
Noodle Boy is exactly as much of a doofus as I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
Sword Guy isn't as cool as I was led to believe, but he's still pretty cool.
He gets more cool later.
And Tumblr McDaddydom, or whatever his name is kind of a nice dude. I thought, from the way he looks like, the really stuck-up kind of character, but it turns out he's just a really nice guy who doesn't want people to go hungry. So I still haven't seen One Piece, and now I feel like I don't need to, because you've told me literally everything about the first 100 chapters.
we've talked before about this, like, not like you and me in person, Joey, but like, just for the folks at home, Joey can't read manga real good because they're hard to follow.
I'm hella dyslexic.
And the anime is real bad, so you'll probably never watch that.
Yeah.
So, like,
the anime for these arcs that we discussed today,
they're
the
mediocre.
anime was less bad. It was all right.
It's still 90s anime though, where like everything is super stilted and not good looking.
Yeah, you can tell it was low budget.
Yeah,
but...
there was never a point where the anime was good. It just got so much worse that people romanticized the days where it was mediocre. So I don't mind that we went in depth because that you're not going to probably experience it any other way.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yep.
And goodness, it's just goodness, that's a lot of information.
And maybe we could edit it down a bit.
I'll see what I can do.
Oh, don't worry, Gnome will run some magic on it. He made me funny in the For Sailor Moon podcast, so...
You were really funny to begin with, don't you do that.
He just cut a bunch of... He just cut, like, every syllable you said and rearranged them into jokes.
Yeah, rearrange them into jokes about Tumblr Daddy Doms and Noodle Mans.
Yeah, we'll be good, I'm sure. Alright, so thanks for listening to episode 2. I've never played a video game where we don't talk about video games. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Internet.
Nate.
Oh.
Give it up, Luffy. Don't give it up solo. Don't give it up now, man. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the Grand Line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king.
His name is Luffy.
That's Monkey D. Luffy.
King of the pirates. He's made of rubber.
How did that happen?
Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum. His name's Olo, he's just like a samurai and a Lady. Nami's not shy. The pirate crew coming through, doing their thing with the king of the pirates. He's gonna be king.